Driving the kids to school, take a look at some other cars on the roads around you. How old would you say those cars are? Edward Jones financial advisor Allison Gilman-Aquino is here. Good morning.
Good morning, Nicole. How old would you guess they are?
I don't know. I would say I haven't thought about it.
I was really surprised to hear this, but on average, the car and trucks around us on the roads out there about 10.6 years old.
Oh.
So on average, you know, half are newer than that, but then half are older than that. It's like, dang. So there's some really old cars out there on the road these days. And when you think about it, aside really from buying your home or putting your kids or your grandkids through college, your car is probably one of the most expensive purchases you'll ever make. People are watching their pennies more closely than ever these days and trying to make their vehicles last. So, you know, they're not buying that new car or that gently used car.
Makes sense. So what's this pent-up demand we're talking about?
Well, pent-up demand is what happens when you really make do with things a little longer than you would have normally. That happens when the demand for a service or product is unusually strong. Investopedia tells us, Nicole, that it's often seen following a recession, at a time when consumers have built up their savings or maybe they've held off on buying things due to an uncertain economic climate. Quite often, pent-up demand accelerates the recovery period following an economic downturn because of the sudden increase in consumer confidence and then people getting out there and spending.
Yeah, we were just talking about holiday shopping. Could that be the reason there's been a strong start so far to the holiday shopping season?
I think so. I think it's a couple of things. I think retailers are getting on the ball faster than they ever have before. You know, what, everybody's open at midnight on Thanksgiving night. And, you know, Wisconsin shoppers have always been known as being pretty frugal bunch, value shoppers. Everybody wants the good sales. So I think people are getting out there. They're comparison pricing. They're shopping the sales. They're, you know, turning it into kind of like what you did on Saturday. Get out there and just knock it down. And if it means I'm out there for a couple hours, I'm going to get her done. But the thing about it is, I think people feel like now they want to spend a little bit of money. They can spend a little bit of money. And that's where pent-up demand becomes important because at some point, companies have to start hiring again. They can't make do with the fewer heads that they're doing these days. So at some point, payroll's got to increase. People have got to go back to work. I know there's a lot of temporary workers this holiday season, but at some point, you'd hope that employers are going to make some of those positions permanent. That helps all of us.
Absolutely. All right. If you've got questions about money for Allie, send them to us here at the station. And of course, we will pass them along to Allison. You can email us, wakeup6@fox6now.com. Thank you, Allie.
You're welcome.